One of the most exciting social media platforms out today is Steemit. And Steemit is a cryptocurrency, social media, all blended together. It's a way for you to write content and make money. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret meeting that I had that we only had a few people there, and we got a chance to hear from a genius in Steemit. His name is Jerry Banfield. And Jerry delivered a great amount of content, took questions. I just happen to have my camcorder, and I want you to join in on this so you can listen to it. If you're using Steem, this is what you want to do. Get in there and start working, taking some notes on it. And if you haven't used Steemit yet, and that's Steemit, Steemit, then you want to find out as we learn about the magic of it from Jerry Banfield.
To work in Google. So about half my posting strategy is to make things people will find in Google for a year, 5 years, 10 years, because then I have a lot of followers because I've kept doing that over and over. I think, what can I do that people will keep finding over and over for years? So for Steem, it's a trick to balance out your patience with you want to make some money, but also the long term that I want someone who's Googling this in a year to find me and start following me then. So for Steem, think Google with every single approach. Google likes long, in-depth posts. If you do videos, that's YouTube search, that's really good. And just doing that over and over and over again. I try and do a post at least every single day, because as you found out, if you took a day or a few weeks off of Steemit, most all of us in life are, what have you done for me lately? Most of us have a very quick forgetter about that favor we did for someone a year ago. Well, you haven't done anything for me lately, I'm not going to help you with that. So you can schedule posts ahead of time with Steemit, and that can be helpful if you've got a week where you're free.
Spell that for us, please.
A week?
Steemit.
Steemit is Streemian. And you can schedule posts out in advance. I did that while I was on vacation. I prepared a whole bunch of posts ahead of time, scheduled them out so that they'd come out while I was on vacation, instead of leaving a 2-week gap where people forget about me and start following someone else and, oh, it's Jerry again. For earning income, it's best to just bring your own people who are going to guarantee you income. For example, I got my wife on Steemit. I gave my wife some Steem. Like, I've got a guarantee up. We can literally just, assume, like if I was starting from scratch, we could literally just vote each other's posts up repeatedly. So have some guaranteed income from a friend, a family member, and it's much easier to earn if you've invested something. 99% or so of users have almost no Steem. Therefore, when you share and you post, people see how much Steem you have. People want to follow people who can give back to them. If you want to earn on Steem, it makes it a lot easier if you get some Steem and put it into Steem Power, because every single person that comes across you then may check your wallet or may see how much your post is upvoted. And the reason I've been able to get so many followers is just because people hope that I'll upvote their posts. They see that I can upvote so much, then they follow me. And even if I never upvote their posts, as I probably never upvoted at least half of your posts, you can see we're here together today. I can give you $5 or $10 on an upvote.
And now that we're here, you're going to upvote all of us every day,
yeah. Right? The mindset that helps me, and I've learned this the hard way, having more followers and more money is different. It's not better, it's different. You might think, oh, if I just had a whole bunch of money, life would be better. It's just different. The weird thing is, if the more money you get, the more there is to worry about. You immediately cross this threshold of, I get stupid sometimes. I look at my posts, I'm like, well, this didn't earn $100. I'm done. I'm not gonna post anymore. This thing, and it's like the third post I've made one day, and the other two made 150. Well, screw them. I'm done. Like, there's the idea that money will make things better and save us all, and I most of the time I remember that I won't be any happier if things go better. Yesterday I just got some really good upvotes and I felt worse. I'm like, well, what is there to do now? I got a ton of support on this. I got everything I wanted, and I'm still feeling a bit uncomfortable. So when you realize that how happy you are and how you do on Steam is it's not dependent on what you get out of it. If you get $10 in rewards, you might get a little, or 100 or 1,000. You might get a little euphoria afterhand, but that goes away quick. And actually, one of the worst things that can happen is having one of your posts get voted up a lot. You might think, no, I want that. Once you have a post that makes several $1,000s, and then they go back to making a few hundred or 10 or 30, it's kind of ruined everything. It's like, well, this sucks, it made $50. You know, but so if you get a post that makes a whole bunch of money, it can kind of screw up your baseline. It's kind of easier to work if you're hoping it makes $1 a little bit, but then it gets to be stressful. For me, I feel like this pressure, like I've got to perform, like I can't even post this if it won't make $100. You know, like, and that blocks me sometimes from sharing things that are more helpful, from just saying, look, forget the money, what can I do to really help someone today? If you keep thinking that, if we keep thinking, what can I really do to help someone today, we get given back in time. I started my business 6 years ago and I wasn't thinking about what can I do to help anyone else. I was thinking, how can I make money? And nothing went well until I switched from, well, I about went out of business. So I thought, screw it. I'm gonna go out of business anyway. I'm just gonna think, what can I do that if my business goes under will still be really helpful? And man, as soon as I switched to that thinking, things started going really well for me. That's all I've got. Any questions you'd like me to answer while we're here? Yes.
I think earlier you said something about people can like get your friends and family to upvote you, and that they can just keep upvoting you. But isn't there some sort of a limit to how many upvotes you can give, or how much? I don't completely understand.
Tell us about the 5-day rule.
Yes. So you have voting power is multiplied by the amount of Steam you have. Meaning, if I vote too much, I can effectively reduce myself temporarily to as if I don't have anything. So every day you get 20% or so voting power every day. Therefore, the ideal scenario is to keep your voting power between like 70 and 95. You don't want it to go all the way up, but you can vote about 10 full power votes every day. So like my wife, with what she can do, she could vote 10 of my posts or her own comments or whatever. Any of us, we can vote up 10 full power posts every day and then get that back the next day. So if you want to just completely selfishly vote your own stuff up, all you need to do is make 10 posts every day and vote all of them up. Or make one post and make 9 comments and vote all of them up. But it tends to work better to vote other people up and have them vote you up. Like for me, I could upvote myself $50 or $100 every day. But I don't do that because if I'd rather vote other people up and get voted back up myself, because I can't ever upvote myself more than 50 or 100 a day. But other people can vote me up hundreds of dollars a day if they choose to. And it feels good. I started off, when I first invested, I voted all my own comments up. I'd make 100 comments, vote all of them up. And I started to feel kind of yucky at doing that. Like, really, I invested all this to vote my own comments up and I would hardly vote anyone else's up. So it's good to vote your own stuff up, maybe a vote or two on your own stuff a day. I've started voting my own posts up. I mean, if you're not gonna vote your own post up, why is anyone else gonna vote it up? So, voting, you get 10 full power votes a day and you wanna make sure to use that up. If you use the multiplier, for example, you get 20, 50% votes every day, or whatever, 40, 25% votes every day. So it's good to use those votes. And if someone helps you and you vote their content, it's really good to comment also. It's frustrating for me. I have people that, they vote my posts up hundreds of dollars, but they never say anything. And then, well, why'd you vote this post up 200 and not this one? Like, I'd like to know, what do you want me to do? Is there a certain post you'd like? So always comment if you have the time. The fewer followers you have more ability to comment, and you can build a lot of great relationships in the comments and get a lot of good upvotes that way.
Tell us about re-steaming and the benefits to you and to the person that you re-steam.
Re-steaming, I have not re-steamed once yet, because if you re-steam, it puts that post in your blog. So if you post a lot, and it gets really confusing if you re-steam. So I personally am not re-steaming, and maybe I'll re-steam my wife's intro post if she posts. But
There's a lot of real new people here. Can you explain what re-steaming is?
Re-steaming is like retweeting if you're on Twitter, or it's like sharing if you're on Facebook. So if you hit re-steam, it'll go out to all of your followers, and it will appear in your actual blog, which I've discovered a lot of authors who've re-steamed others, but sometimes that worked against them because they re-steamed another author, and I like that author better than them, so I stopped following them and started following the author they re-steamed. So hopefully they'll improve that in the future, but for now, for better. I appreciate re-steams though. If I see you re-steamed me lots of times, I'll give you a big upvote on one of your own posts, so it's a tricky feature. Yes, John.
In regards to getting something to a trending state, I know you got the comments, you got the votes, and how much money that you have actually made on the post. How do they weigh the different parts? How do you get into actually trending?
Trending?
How do you get into the trending? As far as I can see, the trending is some combination of how recent the post is with how much money it's earning with the votes too. Because you'll see if you scroll down the trending, it's not just the most money. Sometimes you'll see a post that's, if it has the most money and it's new and it's got a lot of votes, it'll be on the top. But you'll see a post like some of mine, even though they don't have as much money as others, will rank higher because there's a lot of numbers of votes. What I try and do is make posts that are really helpful, and then instead of trying to aim for the trending page, I just try and aim to do things that are really helpful, and then I trust that if I make things people like, they'll hit the trending page. Hitting the trending page is not as effective as bringing your own followers. I've got some followers, I've been on the trending page a bunch of times, and the main amount of followers I've got is bringing my own, from Facebook, from Twitter, from YouTube. If you've already got followers somewhere else, bringing them to Steemit's a lot better, because like my wife, I'm the only person she's following, so her feed is only my posts. No competition there yet. So if you bring a friend to sign up for Steem, then that can be worth a lot in terms of, I've brought a bunch of my friends and I've sold as many friends as I can. Some of my friends have invested thousands of dollars, and you can see on my posts, they vote their own comments up every time. And so for the trending page, it's something that's nice, but it's not necessary. You can literally just bring your own followers, and your own followers are most likely to help you get to the trending page.
What amount of money do you recommend that a newbie invest to really get going? And can you make money without any investment?
You can make money without any investment. I'd say that's a wonderful question. I'd say it's 50 to 100 times easier to make money if you make an investment, because people are going to be more attracted to you if they know you can vote them up. And it shows a commitment. If you haven't put anything into Steem, then people judge by that. If you've put a lot into Steem, people judge by that too. Like, well, this guy's gonna be here and keep posting and continue contributing. I don't wanna follow people who are gonna stop posting, because that's annoying. You get to really like someone, I wanna read, and I'd say $1,000 is a good minimum for investing, because you're getting towards the top of all the accounts on the website then. Probably 99.5% or something of people don't have $1,000. So I mean, $1,000 in the stock market's almost nothing. You can barely buy a share to a Google or Facebook, maybe a few more Facebook. But $1,000 on Steem is a huge, relative to the total user base investment. So the easiest way to get in the top 1% on Steem is to put $1,000 on. And if $1,000 sounds way too much, then $100 a week or $100 a month or $20 a week. I started out on Bitcoin after initially gambling with it and losing $5,000+, which was all borrowed personal loan money to not go out of business. I mean, I was just the exact kind of start out wrong and screw it all up. I realized cryptocurrencies are really good, don't want to give up on them, but I need a rational plan to participate, not an emotional one. So I started buying $1 an hour of Bitcoin back when it was like $300 or $400. And that's snowballed into what it is today. So it might not sound like much to put in $20 a week or $1 a day, but just putting a little bit on a regular basis will add up a lot too. Then if the price plummets for some reason, you'll get a really good deal when the price drops. And if the price keeps going up, then you'll have bought low and you can keep buying some more.
What do you think about the price on Steem? Because I originally bought it, like, I think it was pretty high. It was supposed to, like, I think Steem Power is like the average weekly price. And at one point Steem was like $2 and it started going down to like $1.60. That's where I spent like $1,600 in it. And the price just like plummeted. The price just went down a lot, and I lost like 30-40%.
You sold it.
But I didn't. Yeah, I put everything into Steem Power, so you know, I believe it, and I think it will. I think in the future it will go up, as long as you know it attracts users. What do you think? Do you think the price will probably go up to like $10-20? Steem?
I think Steem is the only one of the cryptocurrencies that has potential for mass market adoption in the reasonable future. I don't know hardly anyone in my normal life, like, you know, my family, my friends, almost none of them even use Bitcoin or ever made a transaction. And there's not a big reason to. That's the main question people ask is, why would I use Bitcoin? I already have a credit card, I already have a PayPal account. My brother thinks the only people who use Bitcoin are like black market stuff, and he's got a point. There's a huge black market appeal for cryptocurrencies. So I think Steem easily in the next few months could go to $10, and I think eventually, I mean, I've invested as much as I could stand because I believe it'll go to 100 plus someday. So if you buy 1,000 now, that's 100,000. Oh, we'll have to start another recording. If you hit this, it'll keep going like splice.
You want to do it now?
Oh, thank you.
And Jerry, I'm
Sure.
recording this so I can turn this over to you as well. What you say?
Excellent.
Coming to a Steemit near you.
Oh, that's good. You're welcome to put it up on your own.
I love that. Okay, there we go.
I think Steem has the potential to go to $100+ in the next few years. Bitcoin had a lot of pessimism, the first initial release, a ton of haters. Steem, the thing that makes it different is there's a reason to sign up for it without investing. With Bitcoin, there's no reason to buy Bitcoin unless you want to invest or make a transaction, or unless you want to buy something on the black market. Like for a regular person that has a bank account and a credit card, there's no compelling reason to use Bitcoin. Steem, there's a compelling reason to sign up to go blog, make money, and share on social media. And there's a compelling reason to invest. I'm trying to get my mom on Steemit because, you know, she has a book she wants to publish. I could give her money towards her book every time. So the more of us that are invested in Steemit, there's a compelling reason to bring our friends. So I think Steem will be the first mass adopted cryptocurrency. And I think most of the other cryptocurrencies are nothing more than a startup company with no or very few actual customers. Steem has real users, like people who are using it not just to trade or exchange money, but actually make money, like blogging.
Also, what do you think about the payout as far as, like I noticed like right now, people post stuff and they have like only 20, 30 views, maybe 100 views, and they have like $200-300. And in reality, if you have that many views in YouTube or anywhere else, you won't have anywhere near that money. So I'm guessing in the future, the payout will be less, maybe, or once it has like mass adoption, do you think like I'm guessing it won't sustain the same amount of payout?
Yes, the relative voting power is probably going to continue to drop. So if you just put Steem in today and don't author posts and don't make any money, your relative voting power will probably go down. However, depending on how much the price goes up, for example, if the price goes up 10 times, your vote immediately goes up 10 times in value also. But if the price goes up 10 times and the amount of steam that's being used to vote goes up, then the actual vote will go down in relative power, but because the price is higher, it'll be worth more. So you'll get less steam, but it'll be worth more.
So all the early adopters will definitely have an advantage.
Yes, if you've bought in before, it'll only take one millionaire or one big investor to run the numbers, and I've already put the numbers, like just watching one of my videos, like I buy $1 million of this, I can upvote my own post for $2,000 a day, and me buying will raise the price up single-handedly, which would raise the effective amount. Just one person anywhere in the world calculates this and buys in, and all of a sudden the price is going to go from, now I don't know if that'll be next month or in 6 months, but just one person can single-handedly blow this whole thing up. And then if you've already invested, if you've already been contributing, writing posts, commenting, building followers, it's like some of the guys who were first in on Steemit. A few of the huge whales, they bought in when it was 10 cents, 20 cents. I mean, they have just massive amounts now.
Right.
So I think we're very lucky to be in this early, because I was one of the first Facebook users, but I didn't get anything because there was no opportunity to invest as a college student with a few $100s in my bank account. But this is cool because if you have a few hundred, you can put it in today, and that could be worth like 10,000 in influence. I think Steem, if for better or worse, gonna just consume Facebook, YouTube. It's gonna consume all these other social networks, which you could say that's a good or a bad thing.
It just worlds. It's a game changer.
Yes.
It's a game changer for reals.
Yes.
Paradigm shift that's going on. It's amazing.
And it's still in beta. It's still in beta, right?
They're still
evolved
testing
at
it.
all. Yeah, there's still like so many things that they can implement
It's just
to make it better.
What can you imagine? What can we contribute to make it even better? Because it's in competition with the dollar.
Right.
That is awesome.
I think like the promote option that they have now, that kind of lowers inflation. I think that's definitely a good thing. They just gotta get rid of those like Randall whale and I mean, like they gotta get rid of those, because that's, I think like they need to focus on like, because the promote goes into the no account and the money gets destroyed, which is a good thing, because there's constantly new Steem being printed. You want to get destroyed as well, so you can balance out the inflation, because we certainly don't want inflation. We want our profit to, our assets to sustain a high value. So I think like there's still a lot, Steem still has a lot of room to improve on, and I think if they improve a lot of things, that it's definitely going to be able to compete with definitely going to be able to become bigger than Facebook and the other social medias. There's a lot of things that they do need to improve on though. These bots are kind of crushing it a little bit. What would you say?
Yes, I'm happy to hear I'm not the only one who feels like that. It's so exciting. Facebook, I asked my wife, because my wife was one of the very first Facebook users, because she went to BU. She was one of the, got on like a year before me, and she's like, yeah, Facebook was horrible when it started. Yeah, when it was thefacebook.com, when you commented on someone's wall, you had to like sign it, or you couldn't even see who wrote it. Like you just would have this random comment. You could troll people, like just throw something on their wall, like, whatever you wanted to. Yeah, and they didn't know who posted it. But I think it's great that Steem is so exciting, even though the user interface is, at least first impressions for a lot of people, it's terrible. The basic functionality is terrible in a lot of things, and yet it's still working, even though it's like a really ugly beat up car in a lot of ways. It's still driving us where we want to go.
Jerry, you create a lot of content. We know content really drives what's happening in what we're doing with Steemit. How do you come up with content, and what have you seen as the best content that you've generated the most good juice out there in Steemit?
That's a lovely question. I think about that a lot. What I think of for Steem is what's going to help someone else the most today. So especially solving problems. If I've had some particular problem in my life, I'm going to bet someone else has had it too. And if I write and share about it, that a lot of times is powerful. Sometimes it can just be excitement or ideas. Half of what I do is aimed at long-term searching, Google search, organic search. Because think about it this way, would you rather have someone show up at your house and bang the door and ask and share things with you, or would you rather them just be there exactly when you need them? That's Google search, YouTube search, being there exactly when they need you. What I try and do is think, what is someone going to be looking for? What problem does someone else have that I've already solved that I can explain? And then when someone's looking for, like I did a video on YouTube, like how to stop fantasizing, because that was a hard thing for me. And that now when people are on YouTube, how to stop fantasizing, bam, I've got the video like addressing that. I think on Steemit, that's a great opportunity to write for Google search, because if you try and do your own blog, you have no search rank, no page rank, no backlinks. It's going to be hard to find your post. One of the things that convinced me Steemit was for real is the Google organic search. Basically, if I write a post on Steemit, I've got a good shot to go straight to the top, because Steam as an entire website has a high page rank, and it's blasting up in Alexa, which the higher it goes, the more all the posts will rank higher, like Wikipedia. And then at some point, when you've been searching long enough, you intentionally look for Wikipedia. So at some point, we'll have people intentionally only wanting to read news on Steam. They won't want to see it on some other place. So this is really exciting. Yes, John?
I noticed on Steam, a lot of people don't put down their real name. Also, on the one place you put out a website, they don't even put a website. It seems like this would be a good place also to get another funnel started where you get them into other places when you study courses and whatever. Why do people not want to be found?
That's a good question, John. I started out, I did company websites and hid who I was and everything. And the nice thing about that, if you make some scammy business model, you can just walk away from it and move on. And I think the best results come from consistency and transparency. So I think it's best on Steam to put your real first and last name, or Jerry's not my real first name, it's a nickname. My legal name's Gerald. So if the government's asking, I'm Gerald, otherwise I'm Jerry. I think it's powerful to put your real first and last name on and do that as your username. But people don't do it probably out of fear or out of just fun, trying to create a persona or be something like a specific username. I think it's most powerful though to just be a person, because most of us are hardwired to connect with people, whereas most of us already have enough ideas in our head, enough companies in our head, and it's confusing. I have some people that I like and follow on Steam, but I've asked them, I'm like, would you put your real name, because your username's confusing, and usernames are really forgettable, at least in my mind. It's easier to remember a name, but you might debate. We might debate that if I don't remember some of your names in a few minutes.
Are you planning to go to Steamfest in Lisbon?
I'm not planning to go right now and I had this because I was thinking, okay, spend several $1,000s, I get sick flying, then try and go there and show up and then sit through a different conference. That I like a format you just kind of meet and mingle. There's not a set agenda. I like to get, you can see I've been standing up here the whole time. I don't like to sit down and read slides, because if I can do that at home just fine. So I'm not going. I'm very happy they're putting Steamfest on though. I'm really excited they're doing that, and I would go if it was driving distance, but since it's in Portugal, that's a long way.
It's a long drive.
Yeah, and it's a significant cost too. When we all drove here and just met up, and the food and the rental space was like a couple $100. So I'm very happy we did this today. And Steamfest inspired me to do this. Yes, John?
Let's talk about boats.
Boats.
I'm barely new 3 weeks in, and I can see where they could be really good. I can see where they're just terrible. What kind of regulations, or how are we going to control it? Or what the future of boats for Steemit?
Boats?
The robots.
Oh, the bots.
Yeah.
what's the future of bots on Steemit? If you read the terms and conditions, which most of us don't do, I actually browsed through them when I was making an account for my wife, and I believe it says you're not allowed to use bots already in the terms and conditions. I would imagine there will be enforcement on bots at some point, and those won't be allowed, and they may be banned somehow. But the problem with Steam, so there's not, progress is an illusion, there's just change. Every time you make steps forward, you give things up too. And one of the downsides of Steam being censorship resistant by nature is it's also ideal to use for botting. If it's resistant to censorship, not easy to get banned, and you can do a bot, then the only counter is essentially users manually fighting back against you. So botting, I would imagine, as Steam grows, will be more of an issue than it is now, and it's already a big issue. Especially when you could just make a bot and auto comment if the price of Steam's 10 times higher. I mean, botting will continue to be more lucrative unless on Steam's end they do something more to counteract it. And that'll be up to them. I would imagine they'll make it harder, like to do certain things. They'll put in more controls to block bots, but they haven't done it yet.
What do you see are the biggest risks to somebody spending a lot of time, money, and energy in Steam?
The addiction aspect is a very big risk. I've struggled with that some myself, like stop using Steam today. Like, and it's tempting because like I've got all these comments to respond to. Yeah, it's like stop, walk your dogs, spend some time with your family. So to me, one of the worst things about Steam is the addictive part of it, which for growth is really good, but I mean, to me, Steam is way more addictive than Facebook. I mean, on Facebook, if you get 100 likes, that's good, but imagine if you can sit there and literally just quit your job. I mean, the addiction potential is gigantic with Steam. That to me is one of the worst parts of it.
Okay, so that's the risk for you personally. How about risk of the platform, risk of some sort of hacking into people taking the Steam dollars or the administrators running off? Yeah, I don't.
It's only a risk if you're worried about it.
Well,
He's just worried
ask
about
the people who had their money in Mt. Gox if it was only a risk if they were worried about it. That's not true. There are potential things that could happen. That's just what I'm asking, if there is something.
That's an outstanding question, because I believe if we're going to invest smart, we should be very aware of what the actual downsides or logical downsides are. The way I see Steam, there are some massive potential downsides. With things growing, there's going to be people who aren't happy with that. Google, one of the big risks I see is if at some point Google gets sick of all the Steemit posts, Google could easily wipe out the Google traffic to Steemit by just, so to me one of the biggest long-term risks is Google and Facebook both stop sending traffic to Steam. That would be devastating. But if you've got a critical mass, before then it won't matter because people will just bring it. So to me it's almost a question of at what point will Google still sends traffic to Facebook. So as many users as Facebook has, Google still sends traffic there. So that's not a certain thing, but Facebook already, there's so many Steam shares, you have to type a CAPTCHA to share a link on Steemit sometimes. So Facebook blocking Steemit's a very real risk. In terms of technology, computers are advancing so fast. If someone grabs a computer that's faster than what's expected, theoretically, you could crack the whole key system if you had a powerful enough computer and knew how to do it. And right now, you could theoretically crack the system to the point where you could just clean out millions of dollars of Steam in minutes. Like if you had a computer,
Sorry, it just cut off.
Oh, that's all right.
Going again.
Excellent. So theoretically, if you had a computer, if you got it set up right and you could crack an active key and you crack the Poloniex and the Bittrex keys, you could grab millions of dollars of Steam at the current price. So if it goes up 10 times, you could grab hundreds of millions of dollars of Steam if you crack those keys. So it'll just be a dance of whether the technology in the blockchain can stay ahead of users' ability to crack it. And yes, there will likely be, I mean, the more it grows, the more people will be interested in cracking it. The witness system right now seems to me relatively easy to take down as well. Now I have an introductory understanding in the hacking, but the bigger Steam gets, it might be fun to just take it offline. And right now all you need to do is knock out about 30 witness servers who mostly have backup servers and some are in protected environments. But if you knocked out the 30 or 40 witness servers even temporarily, you could take the whole thing temporarily offline. But it's pretty resilient, and I think all the positive things we're going to put into this will overcome the risks. And another risk is, you know, if the one founder already left, the other founder or someone at the company could run off, sell all their Steam, the price could plummet and never come back from that. So that's possible too. I've put in everything I can stand to lose. So if my Steam gets completely lost, then I can live with that. The biggest risk to the individual user though is losing your own wallet password. A lot of us don't have very good password systems set up yet. You lose that owner key, there's no guarantee whether you can ever get back into your account. So it's important to have that owner key backed up somewhere else. And if someone gets a hold of your owner key, they can lock you out too. So I think it's important to use the posting key and the active key. Don't use your owner password. Don't use your password to sign in anywhere, because if I get your password, I can not only clean anything out that's not in Steam Power, I can also lock you out, and you have to basically hope Steemit will let you back in and lock me back out. So you keep that password safe. I recommend a password manager that's on multiple devices and backed up offline. Don't keep it too secure though. You go put it in a safety deposit box on a piece of paper and something happens to the bank and the bank burns down or something, and then you're locked out of your own account. So most of us, the biggest problems we face are the ones we create for ourselves. All done? All right, well, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming out today. This has been a great time, and I'll hang around for another 40 minutes or so we can chat.